Okay, so if you're in the market for a roommate and you want to make sure that you make the right match, I can help you. I've had a lot of roommates, 9 different friends or acquaintances that I've lived with. I've also lived for a stint of time with 2 different families, not including the family of 7 that I grew up with. So I know a bit about it, and I am here to share some things that I've learned to help make your roommate search profitable and effective. These tips are definitely going to help you make the right decision for you. And stay tuned to the end of the video for an exciting announcement. Okay, cool. See you there. Hey there, welcome back to Modern Woman. Today, we're talking about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, how to find a good roommate. The big key to finding a good roommate is this. Here's my motto. Make the decision before you make the decision. You want to know where you want to live, the kind of atmosphere that you are looking for in the home, and the kind of experience you want with your roommates before you even start looking. That's the key, because that's going to help you make a good choice that's suitable for you. A lot of times it's not because the people are bad. Maybe they're just not a right fit. Or maybe the people are a great fit, but the area is all wrong for you. Here's the thing, having a roommate is a significant commitment. And then you are, in many respects, sharing your life with people. So it is not a decision to make lightly. Even if it's a quick decision you have to make, it should still be a very, very thoroughly thought out decision. I guess I need to explain, how do you make the decision before you make the decision? The tip for this is research. You need to research the location where you want to live, research your housing options, and also the people that you want to live with. So with the location, you want to look at a space and determine, is it close enough to my job or potential jobs? Does it have the amenities I'm looking for, the entertainment options? Because that's going to affect how happy you're going to be living in that space. You also need to think about, are there any family members that you need to live close to, or that you just really want to live close to? Also with housing options, think about the kind of space you want to live in and if that's even available in the location. You may have to compromise on location to find a good house. For instance, are you wanting to live in an apartment, rent a house, rent a townhome, rent a duplex, rent a room from someone? Where do you want to rent? Where do you want to live? You got to figure it out. And then also you need to vet the people to make sure that they're going to be good living house partners with you, right? Because you can have someone that you're great friends with whose lifestyle habits are completely different from your own. And it's not that you can't work through it, but you don't want to have to work through that when you move in. Tip number 2 is that you need to know your non-negotiables and your must-haves. This is going to bless you. These phrases may seem like overkill, what I'm about to explain, but take it from a woman who's had 9+ roommates since she was 18. These things matter, and they really do matter for having a pleasant long-term living situation. So here it is. Your non-negotiables are your deal breakers. They're the things that you absolutely you 100% cannot abide it. Okay, they're going to include your budget, maybe even parking options, because like if you got to keep your car covered and you can't have any dings or scratches, then you're going to have to think about that. You may choose not to care about it. Lifestyle habits should be included in your non-negotiables as well. There are other things too, but the key for this is to make sure that you are really, really honest with it. It's not a right or wrong list, and the non-negotiables are going to help you make a decision where you're going to feel really safe and comfortable with the living situation. And then the must-haves are the things that you would strongly prefer in a living situation, and these are the things that are going to make you happy and fulfilled. The non-negotiables are more important. The must-haves make it the sweet spot, but if you are in a fix or a bind and you've just got to find a space quickly, I say focus on the non-negotiables more. You have more time, you have more flexibility, definitely focus on both, okay? I recommend making a list of at least 7 to 10 non-negotiables and 7 to 10 must-haves, and then finding a space that has at least half of both of the lists. Now, let me know in the comments if you have any tips for this as well, if you're finding things helpful, if you have any questions. I want to hear from you. All right. I hope that this is really useful in helping you find a roommate situation that works for you. Press that like button if so. Now here's tip number 3. This is of the utmost importance. You need to use safe and reliable sources to compile a list of potential roommates and living situations. The day of technology has made things a lot easier, but also a lot less secure. I cannot overemphasize that enough. And if you're trying to find the right living situation, Craigslist is maybe not the best place. I am embarrassed to admit that I did consider using Craigslist, and I'm glad it didn't work out, just because it's so hard to vet stuff. I really would proceed with caution with using any internet-based roommate search engine unless it is well vetted and very secure. The best way to find a roommate is probably going to be, definitely going to be word of mouth with people that you trust. I have found different roommates through other friends recommending friends. You may even have real estate agent friends or people in your area who could recommend it. There are some places that have actual businesses that a part of their business is to help you find an apartment, especially in more urban settings. So those are good things to go through. Anywhere where you can talk with a person about finding a person is going to be really helpful. And I'm hardcore about this because I live in a city where there are known human trafficking rings that hang out around different spaces and in different locations and sporting arenas to snatch people up. So I'm not saying all this to scare you, but to let you know there is a threat out there. And especially when it comes to women, we're looked at as vulnerable and not able to take care of ourselves. And that's not true, but we do have to be on our guard because there can be predators looking out to get you. But also we tend to be much more accommodating and forgiving and open and giving people the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to looking for a good rooming situation, save all that for when you're living with the person. You don't have to be mean, but you do want to be picky when picking a roommate, okay? So again, ask friends, ask family members, co-workers for referrals. Look for an agency, a housing agency that maybe you can meet with a person face to face and say, this is what I'm looking for. You may have to pay a fee. If you can afford it, pay it if they're a reputable company, because it's much more secure and safe that way. If you're going to use the online search engines, here are the things I would say you need to be aware of. Beware of people offering deals that may be too good to be true, right? Move in for free and don't pay any rent at all for a year. There's always a catch. There should always be a monetary, some kind of financial commitment to renting a space. Beware of people who are not willing to meet face to face, whether that be virtually or in person. Beware of people who ask for very secure, private, personal identity information, like your social or banking information, or a copy of your driver's license prior to an application process. Now, if you're going to rent from a property management company and you have to provide some of those things, I get it. But if someone's like, oh, to be my roommate, I need a copy of your driver's license. No, ma'am. No, sir. Heck no. And if you're a woman, you should probably be living with females only, probably. You know, I could see people living with their brother. I'm not talking about that. And you also want to look out for unsecure application processes where you're having to put in a lot of personal details that really just are not necessary. Pay attention to your gut. If something seems fishy, step away. Be safe. Step away. Tip number 4, meet and interview your potential roommate. I recommend at least 2 conversations, one being face-to-face, virtually or in person. By face-to-face, I mean you can see them and talk to them. So it can be Skype or FaceTime or Zoom or all the myriads of options out there for that. But meeting the person first, twice actually. So meeting a potential roomie twice is a big deal for me because it lets you do a couple things. Break the ice, lets you negotiate terms. So talk about what the situation will be like and then determine, do I really want to do this? Can we maybe renegotiate these things? And be certain that you actually want to enter into a living situation with that person. And I really recommend this step, even if you're good friends with and acquaintances with someone, because it's one thing to be good friends with them, but it's a whole other thing to live with them. And again, lifestyle choices and habits are a big deal. People grow up in all different kinds of ways and are used to different lifestyle habits, so that's not an issue. You just got to make sure you are in agreement about how that living situation is going to be, so you can fulfill whatever the requirements will be. And I promise it'll be worth it. It's worth it to be on the same page. Those are my thoughts and tips on rooming situations, how to do it well. It can be a daunting task, but it's worth it to be thorough, because it is going to make for a great living experience, even if it's just for a little while. And of course, what your needs are going to affect this. If you're looking to house share for a little bit, because it's a super temporary thing until your next job comes up. Let's say you're moving from one area to another and you just need to room with some folks for a month or two until you can move to your next city, until your next job starts. Totally cool. You can be flexible with these things, but these tips are guidelines. So to help you out and give you even more useful information and tips, I've created an ebook called A Modern Woman's Guide to Finding a Roommate. So to help you out, because this is a big task and a big decision, taking this information and made it even more accessible to you in the form of an ebook. It's called A Modern Woman's Guide to Finding a Roommate. And it's got a lot of useful details and tips that are in this video. I expound on them. I give you a guide, a little worksheet for making your must-have and non-negotiable list, sample interview questions that I have found are effective, and information from the perspective of the landlord and the renter. I've been both, and how I handle housing situations is different in both of those situations. Again, I've lived with a lot of different people in my lifetime of transitioning from college to finding the right job to having the right job and getting settled in this area. And I really want you to have a great living experience and make wise choices so that it can be safe and awesome, because it is a wonderful thing to have roommates, but finding the right one can be hard. So I want to make it easier for you. So you can purchase the book on my website at www.themodernwoman.cc. There is an ebook page there that'll help you out. So thank you for tuning in and hanging out today. It's been great talking with you. Share this video with any of your friends who may be looking for roommates as well. If you are in a house that's looking for roommates, watch the video together and come up with a plan of action. I know these tips are going to help you make a great decision, okay? Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.